Welcome, 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 one and all to Gameyard TV. Certainly happy that you have joined us. Now, we will be looking on the series that would have been ended a few days ago. That's a series between England and West Indies. So, at first, I will review the third ODI, and then we will look on the positives and the negatives from this series. Now, as it relates to the third ODI, West Indies would have emphatically earned an 8-wicket win in the final ODI against England at Kensington Oval in Barbados on Wednesday to clinch the series 2-1. Now, West Indies had England, how should I put it? They would have had England on their back foot early in the game because of some great power play bowling by man of the series Matthew Forde and the ever-present Alzarri Joseph. They had the Englishmen at 24 for 4 of 9.5 overs. The Englishmen, they would not have just lie down and die. They would have fought back thanks to a knock from Phil Salt. It was, I would say, it was a calculated knock from Phil Salt. He would have made 74 and he would have gotten support from the lower order, right? He would have gotten support from Sam Curran. Sam Curran would have made 40 and he would have gotten support from Dan Mosley. He would have made his maiden ODI 50 and he would have made 57, right? And Jamie Overton would have gotten 32 and late cameo by Jafra Archer, he would have made 38. So these contributions would have, helped England to I would say a fairly good total of 263 for 8 from their allotted 50 overs. Seamer Matthew Forde, he would have taken 3 for 35 in the match for the West Indies, and he would have gotten support from Alzarri Joseph and Romario Shepherd. They would have taken 2 wickets apiece. And I just hope that Romario Shepherd was not, so badly hurt. Hope that he will recover, for the T20 series. What I found is that it seems like his spikes, they got caught in the pitch, and he seemed to me like he would have rolled his ankle, right? So I'm just hoping that he will be, fully fit for the next game. So chasing 264 for victory, the Caribbean side, they kept pace with the run rate, and under the lights, they would have, played some really good shot, and I think also they would have gotten some assistance from the due factor. Ball came onto the bat better when the West Indies players were batting, and they would have chased down the target. I would say they would have chased down the target easily, right? Thanks to an unbeaten maiden ODI century from Keacy Carty. He would have made 128 and he would have gotten support from Brandon King. My apologies. He would have made 102, right? And they would have made that score in 43 overs, right? So I would, want to congratulate the West Indies team for a job well done. They would have, played some good cricket over this 3-match series. I believe they were very, consistent in their batting, in the batting department. And but I will go through the positives. So I will highlight the things that they would have done well in the match. So as I said before, West Indies would have won the series 2-1. It was a home series. Two matches were played in Antigua and Barbuda, and the other match was played at Kensington Oval in Barbados. Right? So it was a very good uh, ODI series. So man of the match, Brandon King, would have scored 102, as I said before. He would have faced 117 deliveries. He would have scored 13 fours and 1 6 at a strike rate of 87.18. Keacy Carty, the other person, would have made 100. He would have made an unbeaten 128 from 114 deliveries, scoring 15 fours and 2 6s, and at a strike rate of 112.3. Now we will move into the positives that we have, noted from the 3-match series. For the records, this list is not exhaustive. So if you have, other positives, you can, just put them in the comment section below. We would really appreciate if you can, chime in and share your thoughts as it relates to the concluded 3-match series. Now, the first positive I would have noted is that West Indies would have won the series, right? That's the obvious positive, and that would have boosted team morale. We are coming off the back of a ODI series in Sri Lanka, and we would have lost that series 2-1. So the fact that we would have won this series, it's really a booster for us, and I hope that this will be like a springboard going forward for the team, and that we will continue to win more ODI series. And the other thing, winning this series also would have contributed to the points that we need to qualify for the 2027 World Cup. So we would have gotten points for winning this series. And I just want to make a point. It may not be a positive, but I just want to make the point nonetheless. West Indies have only won 2, ODI series out of their last 12 ODI series, right? And these 2 wins would have been last year when we would have won against England, and this year we would have beaten England again. So we need to do, much better, especially against the full member nation. We need to start winning some more ODI matches. All right, hope Sammy and his team are, would have been taking note of that. All right, the next point I will make is that the West Indies team, they were consistent in their batting. Or let me rephrase it. We would have seen consistencies of the batters, right? And I'm going to qualify what I mean by that. It means that different batters would have put their hand up in this series, and that is a good thing, because when you have a team, if one person fails, the next person, another person, should be able to, take up the mantle and try to bring the team forward as it relates to scoring runs. So in the first ODI, we would have seen Evan Lewis. He was the main person. He would have gotten 94 from 69 deliveries, and that 94 is on the the heels of that 100 unbeaten 102 he would have made in the last match in Sri Lanka. So he was in good nick at that time. So he would have, made the bulk of the runs in the first ODI, which West Indies would have won. Right, in the second ODI, we would have seen Shea Hope. We would have seen Shea Hope, returning to some form, making some runs, and he would have scored 117 from 127 deliveries. Keacy Carty would have scored 71 in that match of 77 deliveries. Sherfield Rutherford, who has been in a purple patch for some times now, he would have scored 54 from 36 deliveries. And in the third ODI, we would have seen two centuries, one from Keacy Carty, which I would have mentioned earlier, and one from Brandon King. So we would have seen some consistency in our batters standing up, when it matters. Uh, we would have seen another positive point is that Matthew Forde uh, performance with the ball. And his performance would have allowed him to be the man of the series. He would have taken 8 wickets in total, and at an economy of 4.83, he would have conceded 131 runs in the three ODIs, and he would have bowled 27.3 overs with one maiden. So that was some outstanding bowling by Matthew Forde. He put pressure on the batsman up front, because he was one of the frontline bowlers for us in this series, right? And I think one of the things that stood out to me for Matthew Forde in this series is that a lot of people had Matthew Forde as this, bowler that will bowl up front with some in swing, right? And but we would have seen, that Matthew Forde would have grown past that. He has grown and matured as a cricketer, and we would have seen a lot of variation in this series. He would have bowled the slow ball, and he varies his pace, a lot, and his execution was stunning. Uh, Viewers, his execution was, and I think that was, one of the reasons why Matthew Forde was so successful in this ODI series. And six, I think six of Matthew Forde 8 wickets would have come outside of the power play. So he is not only good in the power play, he also bowls at the back end of the innings, and also in the middle overs. So Matthew Forde is becoming a really good pace bowler, and it's a very good look for West Indies, because now we have at least four good young, pace bowlers which we can depend on. So with time, I know they will become better, and the future is very exciting for West Indies as it relates to fast bowling. Right. The next point I will make is that Shamar Joseph would have made his ODI debut in the second game. It was not a good debut for him, but nonetheless, I was really happy for him that he would have gotten his chance in the game. I think that game, scoring 328, the expectation is that we should have won that match, but that's how the great game of cricket goes. Sometimes, if your execution is not on point, then the opposition will capitalize on that. And I think we did not bowl good in that second game. We were not consistent in hitting, the good length in that game, right? The next point is that Brandon King would have made his first century against a full member nation, and that was in the third ODI. Keacy Carty making his maiden ODI century. We would have gone through that already. So he made his first century at the senior level as it relates to ODIs. Another point I will make is that West Indies making in excess of 300 in the second ODI. It's a long time West Indies, haven't made over 300 runs. The last time they did that was on December 3, 2023, and it was against the same England when they would have scored 326 for 6, batting in the second innings. So the fact that they would have gotten over 300 runs, for me, it is a plus, and I just hope we can be more consistent, in our run scoring ability. Right. The next positive I will look at is that West Indies winning 2 of the 3 tosses. Right. We know that winning tosses in the West Indies is very crucial, and you in this series, if you notice that the winners of the toss generally wins the match, and in the 3 series, right, West Indies would have won the first toss, that in the first game they won that match. England won the toss in the second game, they won the match, and West Indies won the toss in the third game, right, and they won the match, right. So the toss was very important, and we would have won 2 out of the 3, and these may seem, like minute things, but they are very significant as it relates to the game of cricket, right. Alzari bowling the best delivery in the series, and that was, that ball that he gave, Jordan Cox. I think he bowled at 148 km/h, right, in the third ODI, and it was during the time when they were having the little altercation there. It was a Jaffa, it was a gem of a delivery, right, and to me, that's a positive, Alzari bowling the best ball in the series in my estimation, right. Best catch of the series, and it was, Alzari and King. It was a combination of the two to remove, Phil Salt in that third ODI. That was a really spectacular catch, and kudos to the guys. I think that was exceptional, right? Also, I think Sammy would have gotten the team selection spot on for this series, and I must give him, his credit for that. Also, I think we have seen success and growth in the team since Sammy took over as coach. So we would have seen, synergy. We would have seen togetherness, right? That one-off situation, guys. We can't allow that to define this group of players, right? That is just one incident, and that is, I know that will be resolved shortly. But we would have seen togetherness, we would have seen competition in the team for places, right? Since Sammy came back, he would have included some of the players we would have not seen played for West Indies for a long time, right? And we would have seen him brought back some of those players. And to be honest, overall, we have, seen where West Indies is playing a good brand of cricket so far. And I know there are improvements to be made, but I'm really happy of the direction, the cricket is going at this time. All right, so on to the negatives. I think only 2 negatives I would have identified. As I said, if you have any other points, you can share it in the comment section, right? The negative, it would be the Alzari issue. I think this issue takes center stage, which is very unfortunate, that this would have taken center stage after we would have won this match emphatically. I would have spoken extensively on this issue, and I will pin that video in the top right hand corner of your screen. So whenever you have the chance, you can, go and view it. But what I will say is that, I hope Alzari will return, stronger to the team. He would have received a too-much ban, and to be honest with you, in any well-structured organization, there has to be rules, right? And there are consequences for, non-compliance of these rules. And Alzari has to be held accountable for his action. And I hope he will learn from it going forward. And I really admire his commitment to West Indies cricket in all formats. That's all I will say on that issue. And the second, point, negative point I would highlight is that our bowling execution in the second ODI was really poor. We did not, put the ball in consistently in the right areas. We did not bowl a good length, and we were taken to the sword for not doing that. Right. So I think that's would sum up all the points that I would have seen in this series. Really want to thank you for joining us, and I hope that you will continue to give your support to this channel. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.